Menachem Begin announced in July 1983 that he wished to resign as Prime Minister and retire from public life. He had been broken by a combination of the Lebanon War with its many deaths, as well as the death of his beloved wife. The Likud had no obvious successor. It chose Yitzhak Shamir, the former leader of the Stern Gang, who had been foreign minister in the Begin government. Shamir had voted against the peace treaty with Egypt and was considered a hardliner. His demeanor resonated steadfastness. However, charisma was not something that could be attributed to it. Israel was facing significant political and financial challenges. Much of the army was bogged down in Lebanon, facing rising opposition both in the field and at home. The occupation of southern Lebanon was putting additional strains on an already burdened economy. Israel was spending almost 25% of its GNP on defense, and inflation was rising quickly. A banking crisis developed when it became clear that the banks had been colluding to artificially prop up the value of their stock. This resulted in a collapse of the bank stocks, in which the public had heavily invested. The government was forced to step in and in effect nationalize the banks. Shamir seemed unable to tackle the twin problems of Lebanon and the financial crisis. In July 1984, elections were held, and the Labour Party, led by Shimon Peres, won a seeming victory. However, Peres was unable to form a government, and eventually agreed to a unity government with Likud, where Peres would be Prime Minister for 2 years, and then Shamir would take over for the next 2 years. Yitzhak Rabin would be Defense Minister for all 4 years. The new government immediately decided to withdraw Israeli forces from most of Lebanon, just leaving a small security zone closer to the Israeli border. Next, the government dealt with a worsening economic situation where inflation was running at over 400% a year, and Israel's foreign currency reserves were dwindling rapidly. Peres put through a series of actions, including devaluation of the currency, wage and price controls, layoffs in the public sector, which he called the Yom Kippur of the economy. The actions even included issuing a new currency, the new shekel. 1,000 old shekels was 1 new shekel. The action worked, and within months the inflation rate had been brought down to below 20% a year. Israel had been secretly helping Ethiopian Jews leave the country and move to Israel for a number of years. With the help of American Vice President Bush, a large bribe of many millions of dollars was paid to the government officials of Ethiopia. Thus they approved the beginning of Operation Moses. That operation brought 7,000 Jews to Israel via Belgium. It continued until it was discovered. That left behind 12,000 Ethiopian Jews. The period was also the true beginnings of Israel's high-tech industries. While Intel and IBM had both opened small development centers in Israel in the 1970s, the 80s saw rapid growth of Israeli high-tech weaponry, such as the Gabriel missile, advanced radar and control systems, and other systems, including the development of a new fighter, the Lavi.